and welcome to the BCU Alumni podcast. I'm Bethan from BCU's Alumni team, and in each episode we welcome a different member of our alumni community back onto campus to find out what they've been up to since they graduated from BCU. Today we're joined by Luke Matthew-Iveson. He graduated from the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire with a BMus in composition in 2012, followed by a Masters in Music Theory and Composition in 2014. Nowadays, Luke works at 41 as their Global Head of Centres of Excellence and their Director of Diversity, Equality and Inclusion, championing inclusive practices that enrich employee experiences and company culture. In 2024, Luke was crowned the winner of the 10th series of the Great British Sewing Bee, and they've enjoyed a wide range of partnerships at the back of it, as well as becoming a social media influencer. In their spare time, Luke also performs as a drag queen. In this episode, we'll be discussing Luke's very interesting career so far, the importance of having creative outlets outside of work, and what it was like to win the Great British Sewing Bee. Luke, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So you studied at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire then. So were you always into music growing up?
Yeah, so that was kind of the first passion that I got into, and it was really, really young. I think my mum bought me, one of those mini keyboards when I was about 3, and just loved playing around, creating music. And when I kind of got to college, it was music or fashion. And I think because I'd had kind of piano lessons and music theory lessons when I was a kid, that was kind of the natural route to go in. So I studied music at college and then kind of went on to do it. And I dabbled a little bit with sewing and fashion, but yeah, music was the one to start with.
So tell me about what you were like as a student then. Like, where did you like to go out? Where did you live? And I guess also where did you like to spend your time?
So it's very strange coming back to Birmingham actually, because the conservatoire that I studied in isn't even here anymore.
Yeah, brand new building now.
Yeah. So with it being so kind of in the city centre, I lived in halls in the city centre.
Yeah.
And basically just moved around. So living slap bang in the middle of the gay village and in the jewellery quarter, which meant always going out in the gay village, going to snobs, going to bars in the jewellery quarter. So basically just living as close to where all the action happened as possible.
And what were you like as a student then?
I would like to think that I was a very good student. I think studying music was at a conservatoire was quite different to what my friends were studying and how their uni kind of experiences were. So where, I might be working with other students at BCU studying different things, they might go in like 1 or 2 days a week. We were in every day of the week, in early to practice, late for like rehearsals, sometimes at the weekends. So it was quite full on, and it meant you really had to kind of like lock in on what you were studying. But because it was a creative degree, there was always opportunities to be creative.
Yeah.
And that's what I just really loved doing from such a young age. So going into kind of a course like that was perfect for me. So it allowed me to be a bit wild and creative as well.
So you don't work in music now, but were there skills that you picked up during a degree like composition that you can actually apply to your role and creative outlets even now?
Yeah, because I think going into classical music, you think it could be quite stuffy and quite elite as an art form. And I can admit that sometimes that's true. But you have to lock in on, if you're studying theory, if you're studying musical history, and doing kind of those research practices is really useful in my work as a consultant. But then at the same time, composition is so creative, and I had the most incredible tutors, Joe Cutler and Michael Walters. And to this day, like my kind of creative thinking and how I approach creativity, whether it's sewing, music, a nice looking PowerPoint for a client, I draw on kind of those practices. So it's all really transferable anyway. So
let's talk Sewing Bee then. Yeah. Were you, obviously you mentioned that you were always kind of into fashion and music, and then obviously you ended up going down the music route to begin with. So what was it like then growing up? Like, did you have any kind of experiences kind of in textiles growing up? Like, did you have like a sewing machine or anything like that?
I had a grandma who sewed, and she kind of approached sewing as a way of kind of mending and fixing things. And obviously like making amazing stuff for me and my sister.
Yeah.
But she never really came at it from a kind of that creative route. It was kind of out of necessity because
it's like practical.
Because she'd studied at school, like in textiles. So when she'd be making stuff, I was just fascinated that she could take like pieces of fabric and, you know, make something 3D. Yeah. So she taught me like the basics from a really young age, and we'd like come up with projects together where I'd say, I want to be a pink glittery dragon. Yeah. Here's my sketch. And she'd kind of go and make it. And going into college, having a bit of that skill set, when I was kind of doing art at college, that was one of my studies, I got to play around with textiles a little bit. So I made Kylie Minogue's Showgirl blue corset with all of the feathers. Wow. As like a final piece.
Oh my God.
You know, went straight in at the deep end. But then as a part-time job, I worked in like retail, fashion retail as well. And I think getting older, I kind of fell out of love with sewing in a way because I didn't feel like it was cool. And going into music, that was like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a band, or like I'm going to release a track and be famous. Yeah. So I kind of fell out of it. And it wasn't until kind of halfway through my degree when Michael Walters, one of my professors, was saying like, you need to pull all of this creativity into what you're creating. So I'd write kind of music theatre pieces. I'd get to write the text. I'd design the costumes. And I think that's why I love my degree so much, because whilst it was in music, I got to draw on kind of all my passions as well.
Yeah. So how did the opportunity come about for you to be on Sewing Bee then?
Yeah. Really, really random. I applied. Well, I was in my office with my office friend who's also a sewist. And I think we were talking about the Sewing Bee. Yeah. And they were like, oh, you should apply. And I was like, I make drag costumes. Like, none of them look that pretty on the inside. Yeah. It's not precise. It's great from far away. I'm not sure. And then we looked on the website out of curiosity. Yeah. And it was the last day to apply. Wow. So we scrambled together kind of an application. I put loads of pictures in and got called for an interview. Wow. And then just went through that process and kind of got on the show. It was over a couple of months, but it just felt quite relentless in terms of the process, which was really fun. But it was just so surreal. I never really had time to think about, oh my God, I'm actually doing this. Yeah, going on a TV show. So when was it actually filmed then? I'm just thinking, like, when was it filmed and then when did it actually like come out? Yeah, these are all the secrets now, aren't they? It was filmed a year before. So I think I found out in 23 around maybe June time. Okay. That I'd started the kind of the whittling down to the final 12. And we had the whole of August to prep for our made to measures. Not all of them, just like the first couple. Yeah. And then we started filming September, October 23. And you'd normally do about 2 episodes a week with a few kind of days break in between. So I'd only booked, I think, 2 weeks holiday off work. I was about to say, how does it work? I've always thought this about people who go on like TV shows for long periods of time. Like, do you just leave work, or are they just understanding? Like, how does it work? Yeah, I think a few of the other contestants left work to go on the show. Wow. And I honestly was just thinking, let me get through the first episode and maybe another one. And it's great. I've been on TV. I've done something that I've loved. It's a great experience. So I booked the 2 weeks off work. And I remember after getting through episode 2, I had to ring up and be like, I can come in on Monday, but then I need another 2 weeks off. Is that okay? And it was like that right up until maybe like filming episode 8. And then my manager was just like, look, just come back when you've won. Like, that's it. And 2 episodes later, I'd won. So. Oh, God. And then at least then so what happened then? Did you literally just go straight back to work afterwards? It was, yeah, so we filmed the final on a Sunday. I think I had the Monday off work.
Yeah.
Just to like sit in bed and like decompress.
Yeah.
And then I went into the office on Tuesday and everyone was asking me and I had to just keep it a secret.
Yeah. Oh God. So, and then did you actually have to keep it a secret for what, like well over a year then?
It would have been 9 months, I think.
9 months. That's a long time to keep a secret.
What was great though is because obviously certain people will know you've got like references and stuff that know you on the show. My mum came to the final. My sister was involved in some filming. My husband was there. My best friend was my model. So you've kind of got this mini bubble with the other contestants as well. Right. So up until Christmas, it was kind of cute. Like, oh, we've got this secret. No one can talk about it. And then from January, I was just like, this show needs to come out now.
Going mad. Yeah. So what was it actually like to be on the show? Because it's so funny because it's one of my absolute favourite programmes and it looks so like lovely and wholesome. But what is it like to actually be on that side of the screen?
It's something that you do settle into and people will come at it differently. I think being in the consulting world and working in diversity inclusion, I've done a lot of public speaking. Yeah. I've done a lot of kind of like webinars. So I've done filming. So I was kind of used to that element. Whereas that was probably really uncomfortable for other contestants. Yeah. Whereas they're used to kind of working under certain time pressures or working with patterns and being super precise. And that was where I was a bit more uncomfortable. So for me, I think the actual experience of being in that space, you know, getting to be with Esme and Patrick and Kyle, the other contestants, the lights, the crew, it was just so wholesome. Like everyone there wants to create something amazing and it's not really competitive at all in that sort of sense, even though it is a competition.
So what are the judges actually like then?
Terrible. No, absolutely lovely. Esme is just the most beautiful human ever. And she's so full of knowledge and even in her cutthroat critiques, and she would throw me shade all the time. And we kind of got this kind of banter relationship. She'd always kind of pass on that knowledge in those critiques as well. And then Patrick was the same. So he would approach it in a different way. And he kept on telling me, maybe about after episode 3, like, keep up the ambition, but really focus on like the skill set as well. And I think that was my journey through the Sewing Bee. So while Esme would be praising me for like the choices that I would make creatively, Patrick was really kind of getting me to hone in on slowing down and focusing on the technique. So for me, like, I just learned so much in 2 months. Yeah.
I'm so relieved that they are as nice as they appear on the TV and that the show is as wholesome as it seems.
It really is. And, you know, you make friends for life with the other contestants. Like Elsa came to my wedding. We go to music festivals together. We're in a big WhatsApp group with all of the other sewists as well from different seasons, and we get to see them at sewing festivals. You know, I've bumped into Patrick a few times. I see Esme in London, and we kind of like WhatsApp and still chat today. So you do kind of create this like mini community as well.
So what was it like to win the show then? I guess, like, can you describe that moment when they announced you as the winner?
Oh, it was, I think I probably blacked out for about 5 minutes.
Wow.
I remember us being lined up with our family and friends behind us, and it was just so emotionally charged in that room. Like, everyone was crying before they'd even announced anything. And I was in the middle between Pasha and Elsa, and they said my name, and I remember kind of looking to my left, looking to my right, and being really happy for both of them at the same time in a weird way. And I was like, oh my God, one of them has won. And Elsa turned around and she was like, you've won. And then they had to film it again because I was just like in disbelief.
Oh, wow.
Because I'd enjoyed the experience for like all of the things that I'd learned. I never thought I was going to win.
Yeah. So off the back of the show then, what kind of opportunities have you enjoyed?
I love going to the sewing festivals. So there's a couple in Birmingham at the NEC that it's really nice to kind of come back to Birmingham, even though they're flying visits. I don't get to really come and see Birmingham that much, but it's so nice to meet other kind of creative people. And, you know, they'll ask questions about the sewing bee, but we talk about like what fabrics people are sewing with. And I just love kind of those conversations. I've got to work with some amazing brands as well. So with Brother Sewing Machines and with Mimikins, who make inclusive 3D scan models to create mannequins that like are your body measurements.
Wow.
So that's been really kind of important to me, is working with brands that kind of share the same kind of ideals and philosophy as me.
Yeah.
And then recently setting up my creative studio space in Manchester for people to come and work from.
Wow. That sounds really cool. What's that then?
So I have a studio in Makers Quarter in Salford, and there I create kind of all of the work that I do, as well as in my studio at home, where it's really messy. And obviously I don't want people to come and see the mess.
See the
there.
reality of it.
Yeah. So I have a public space with sewing machines, and I put on different kind of workshops. So I've released a pattern collection that people can buy and make their own versions of. So I teach some of those patterns, and we've been doing some bag making workshops. We're doing some sashiko Japanese hand stitching as well. So it's so fun. You'll have to come to one.
I definitely will. I love sewing, actually. So how often are you actually still able to kind of sew then? Like, I mean, obviously you've had such success off the back of the show, but how often do you actually go, actually, I'm just going to dedicate a few hours to actually doing what I love?
Every day.
You still do it every day?
Every day. So I work part-time at 41. I do 4 days. And people always say like, oh, are you going to like drop more days down? Why don't you go full-time doing workshops and things? I just love my job on that side as well. So every evening I'll come home and sew stuff. I have Fridays off, which is my full sewing day. So my husband, Jesus, doesn't see me for the whole of Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday I teach in the workshop. So that involves sewing as well. And then obviously kind of creating content around all of that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like juggling two semi-full-time jobs. Yeah.
So tell me about what you do at 41 then.
So I lead our team of engagement and communication consultants. So we go into different organizations and help them really kind of look at the experiences they're creating for their employees and potential employees as well. So that could be anything from talent attraction campaigns to, you know, launching new strategies and policies, etc. But I also have a specialist on the side focusing on kind of diversity, equity, inclusion as well. So working mainly in the US and across Europe, looking at the communications and initiatives that people are doing around that. And at the minute, you know, it's so important to be able to do that work, which is why, you know, I never kind of want to leave and still keep doing that as well, because even though there has been progress, there's lots more progress to be done. So yeah, it's great as well. Really rewarding. Yeah.
So how important do you think it is to have teams like diversity, equality and inclusion within organisations?
I mean, it's so vital, especially, you know, not to get too political, but within today's climate where, you know, I know a lot of chief diversity officers who are unfortunately being made redundant. Yeah. Budgets are being cut. And I think organisations not only need to understand kind of that experiential value that they can create through inclusive practices, but also the business impacts as well. And I think a lot of people just don't see that. So that's why they're not investing in DEI. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with a lot of organizations, is really get them to look at the value it brings to the employee experience, but then also it's good business practice as well. So please tell me about Selma Screams, which is obviously your drag queen persona. What got you into drag in the first place? And also, what is Selma like? Selma, I think, is maybe a slightly sassier version of me. Okay. It's not kind of a separate character. It's just maybe like a creative vehicle to explore other things. Okay. And Selma started, you know, here in Birmingham. I was working with, at the time, Kiln Theatre. It was a female-owned theatre company, and we were creating, I can't remember even what the show at the time was about. We'd done quite a few together. And the way the shows were developed were through kind of workshop sessions. Mm-hmm. And I came in as a pianist, playing music. Okay. the next rehearsal, they asked me if I'd sing, and I was like, okay. By kind of 3 weeks into this process, they were like, we want this character to be a drag queen. Can you sew, don't you? Make something. We developed this very rough outline of a drag queen. It was not pretty at all, but I just loved the transformation elements of it. And I then started to incorporate some of that into the stuff that I was creating at the Conservatoire.
Right.
I'd done some performances in the Village Inn as well. And yeah, it kind of blew up from there. When I then moved back to Manchester, I joined a drag family, got to perform kind of over the UK. I did some performances in Berlin and in Spain.
Wow.
And it, for a while, became a full-time job. And this is before I was kind of in the corporate space.
Yeah.
And then I got my job at 41. And I remember speaking to my manager and just saying, can I not have any meetings on a Friday morning, please? Because I finished doing drag at 6 a.m. So
oh, wow.
I need to make sure that I'm feeling okay for it, just because I was tired, nothing else. And I think that kind of got a bit too much. So I stopped doing the performing, maybe special occasions like for Pride and things, and really focused on creating outfits for other performers as well.
So obviously you and Salma go way back then. Way back. How many outfits do you think you've created for Salma?
Oh, I mean, I have a whole wardrobe at home of just Salma's clothes. Wow. And there's probably about 40 to 50 in there. I've recycled a lot of costumes into other outfits as well. I've donated costumes, I'd say way over 60.
Wow.
That's a lot, isn't it?
That is a lot. So from sewing to Salma then, you clearly have so many creative outlets in your life. How important do you think it is to have these things that you love outside of your normal work day?
It's crucial to how I operate. When I was at the Conservatoire, I've got diagnosed with ADHD, and I need something to be doing at all times to kind of relax my body, which sounds so counterproductive in the process. Like if I'm watching TV, a film with my husband, I'll be hand sewing, or I'll be looking at patterns, I'll be reading pattern instructions. So, I'm not the most sporty person. So I didn't kind of go in and hyper fixate on kind of going to the gym or a sport. It was creativity for me, and being able to kind of feel rewarded in creating something, whether it was for myself or someone else, brings me so much joy, and it allows me to use my brain in a completely different way. And I think, again, that's why the course was so important for me, because it wasn't just locked in on one subject that was kind of a tick box exercise to get the degree. It was explorative in the whole experience, and that's kind of how I still approach things today, even in the corporate world. Every day is different. I think if I had to do a 9 to 5 that was the same thing every day, and then at the weekend go and do the same thing, it's just not for me.
So you've achieved so much, especially over the last few years, but what else is on your bucket list? Perhaps for the next decade or so. The
next decade? I don't think I can think that far. I really want to keep pushing the studio space. So it's been open to the public for a month now, and we've done a couple of workshops, and I think it's really important to have those spaces for other people to come and explore. And one of the biggest joys of having it is a student coming in with their friend who's a sewist, and they've never touched a sewing machine, and they make a bag in 4 hours like everyone else in the workshop. So I really want to kind of grow that and look at how I can kind of involve the wider community across Manchester and Salford. I think that's really important for me, kind of in the day-to-day. And I think before the sewing bee, I was really focused on kind of the drag that I was creating for myself or for other people. And since the sewing bee, it's been more focusing on kind of items people might wear every day, really thinking about what, the people that follow me and look for content and tips are looking for, and it's more kind of that home sewing. So in the next couple of years, I certainly want to go back to that, and maybe it is, you know, working more with drag queens, working more with theatre. You know, I have got a Lady Gaga inspired outfit at home. If Lady Gaga wants to come and, you know, wear that outfit, it did get me Garment of the Week.
Wow.
So yeah, I think just really push those creative outlets.
So this is something we like to do in every episode, which is a Birmingham quick fire round.
Yep.
Snobs or Pop World?
Snobs. Nice. Yep.
Do you have lots of happy memories in Snobs?
I mean, it was across the road from the Conservatoire, so we'd finish a late rehearsal and pop straight in.
Blues or Villa?
Again, I'm not a sports person, but I could say Birmingham Blaze. They're a queer football club.
Nice. I can get behind that. Okay, Broad Street or Digbeth?
Digbeth. Pretty much there every weekend. Again, such a creative space.
Yeah. What is your favourite Brummie landmark?
I will say the original bull, not the bull that's in the New Street
New
station.
Street,
yeah.
The OG bull outside the bull ring.
Outside, yeah.
Like that. And what is your favourite Brummie word?
Cob.
Cob. We've never had cob.
Because I never understood what a cob was. And then I remember someone from Birmingham taught me what a cob was, and we went down a whole rabbit hole of different kind of words for it, because it's like a bap or a barm cake.
Yes, see, now I would call it a bap, but I'm Black Country, and I don't know if that's a bit more, but I'm unsure, to be honest. What is it in Manchester?
A barm.
It's a barm.
Yeah.
Okay, I quite like how you like cob then. And final question then, if you could go back to your very first day at BCU then, what one piece of advice would you give yourself?
I would say kind of let go of expectations. I think going in to study at such a prestigious place like Birmingham Conservatoire, it can be quite daunting. Mm-hmm. And I think it took me quite a while to kind of settle into that experience. So kind of really let go, be proud that I kind of got through the audition process and onto the course, and really kind of enjoy the experience. And I think that goes for anyone doing any degree, really.
Yeah. Luke, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast today.
Not at all. Thank you for having me.
It's been so much fun to just learn more about your journey so far, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon.
100%.
And thank you for listening. You can check out more episodes of the BCU Alumni podcast on our YouTube channel now. Thank you, and we'll see you again very soon.